Dear students, in today's class we'll discuss for numerical problem on ZPF method, which is also called as zero power factor test method or Pottier triangle method or Pottier reactance method. I request all the students to note down this problem based on ZPF test method. I hope all of you noted down the problem statement here. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here the problem statement is a 10 kVA 440 volts 50 hertz three-phase star connected alternator has open circuit characteristics as given below. So here open circuit characteristics are given. Open circuit characteristics means it is information of field current versus line voltage or phase voltage. Here the voltage is in terms of line voltage for different excitation levels. Okay, then let us see the excitation level. So for 1.5 ampere open circuit line voltage is 150 volts. For 3 ampere it is 300 volts. For 5 ampere it is 440 volts. For 8 amperes it is 550 volts. For 11 ampere 600 volts. Finally for 15 ampere 635 volts. Okay. Then with full load zero power factor, so this is all about open circuit test. Then after open circuit test they have given the information related to zero power factor test, right? So zero power factor test information is with full load zero power factor means you have connected the purely inductive load here. Pure inductive load means zero power factor. Okay, the applied excitation required is 14 ampere to produce 500 volts of terminal voltage. So we know that for plotting the ZPF curve we want only 2 points, one corresponding to the rated voltage and another corresponding to the zero voltage or the short circuit condition. With full load zero power factor, the applied excitation required is 14 ampere to produce 500 volts of terminal voltage. On short circuit, 4 ampere, short circuit means zero voltage. 4 ampere excitation is required to give full load current. So for 500 volts, required excitation is field current is 14 ampere, and for zero short circuit condition is for 0 volts, required excitation is 4 ampere. Okay. Determine the voltage regulation for full load, 0.8 power factor, lagging and leading. So here you need to calculate voltage regulation for full load, that too 0.8 power factor lagging and leading. And here they have not given information related to armature resistance RA value. If they have not given armature resistance RA value, means you can take the drop IARA as 0. Okay. Now let us see the solution part here. Solution. See that convert the given open circuit line voltages to phase voltages. So whatever voltage information is given to us in the problem statement, it is with respect to line voltage. Convert this line voltage to the phase voltage. So to convert this line to phase voltage, all these values you should divide it by root 3. 150 divided by root 3, 300 divided by root 3, 440 divided by root 3, 550 divided by root 3, 600 divided by root 3, 635 divided by root 3. So if you divide all these voltage values, line voltage values by root 3, then you will be getting phase open circuit phase voltage, that is VOCPH, means open circuit phase voltage is equal to open circuit line voltage divided by root 3, that is equal to 150 by root 3 means 86.602, 300 by root 3 means 173.2, 440 by root 3 means 254.03, 550 means 317.54, 600 by root 3 means 346.41 volts, 635 by root 3 means 366.617 volts. So note down this column for phase voltages for different excitation levels. So these excitation levels, they will remain same. This upper row, which is corresponding to the field current of the excitation, this will remain same, but whereas line voltage itself you need to convert as from line to phase voltage. Just divide all these line voltage values by root 3. Note down these values, all of you. I hope you noted down. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now see here, for zero power factor. So this curve, using this information, you are going to draw OCC curve. That is, OCC means open circuit phase voltage versus field current. That is top curve you are going to get. So below that curve, you will be getting one more curve, that is nothing but zero power factor saturation curve. So to get that zero power factor saturation curve, you should draw the second curve, that is zero power factor saturation curve, using ZPF test data. So that ZPF test data, let us see what is given here. For zero power factor saturation curve, 2 points are given. One is short circuit full load current. Short circuit full load current means zero voltage, and to get that short circuit or zero voltage condition, required field excitation IF value is 4 ampere. This is the first point. And the second point is terminal voltage, terminal zero voltage. Then this is the point A. So the first point corresponding to the what is that short circuit condition means for 0 volt, the required excitation is 4 ampere. That is point A. Point A is having the information 4A comma 0 volts. X-axis is field current, that is 4 ampere, and y-axis is voltage, that is 0 voltage. So point A is having the ordinates value 4A comma 0 volts. on x-axis. Then second point, IF equal to excitation is equal to 14 ampere required to get 500 volt line voltage at terminals. So here to get 500 volts line terminal voltage, required excitation is 14 ampere, and to get zero voltage or the short circuit condition is the required what is that excitation is simply 4 ampere. Okay, now thus this gives point P. Point P is what? 14 ampere. For the second point, the ordinates are excitation is x-axis. X-axis means 14 ampere, and y-axis is voltage. Voltage here it is line voltage 500, divide this by root 3. So the second point P, it is having the ordinates 14 ampere comma 500 by root 3, because 500 is line voltage divided by root 3. So 500 by root 3 will be 288.67 volts. So to get the phase voltage of 288.67 volts and during ZP of test, the required excitation is 14 ampere, and this is the second point P. First point is A, which is corresponding to the short circuit condition, where during short circuit condition zero voltage will be there and corresponding excitation required is 4 ampere. And for getting the terminal voltage for 500 line voltage, required excitation is 14 ampere. That is second point P. Convert this line voltage to phase voltage by dividing the line voltage 500 by root 3, then it will be 288.67 volts. Okay, now is it clear all of you? Now you need to plot the graph here. The OCC and Portier triangle is shown in figure below, figure dot A. So here now you need to draw the open circuit characteristics and zero power factor characteristics. Using that you will be getting Portier triangle. Okay, this Portier triangle you will be getting. Now to draw this Portier triangle, I request all the students to take graph sheet, pencil, scale, everything with you, and prepare the y-axis and x-axis. Y-axis you take it phase voltage in volts, y-axis, and x-axis you take it field current IF in amps, and write the scale. Scale is x-axis 1 centimeter is equal to 1 ampere, y-axis is equal to 1 centimeter is equal to 50 volts. And how to decide this scale is depending upon the values what you are getting here. So here the values will be voltage values, it will be in the range of 86 to 366, and the field current is 1.5 to 15 ampere. So based on this given data, you need to choose such a scale that your graph should cover the entire OCC as well as ZPF, and you should get clear ZPF, that is Portier triangle. Triangle should be visible clearly and whole graph should be visible clearly, so that I can extract the information very clearly from this Portier triangle PQR. PQR, this is the Portier triangle. Using this triangle, I will be extracting the information of IA into XL, that is length of RS multiplied by 1 centimeter, that is 50. Length of PS information is 1 ampere. This gives us I information, and this RS uses I into XL. So I request all the students first to take the graph sheet. Y-axis you mark it for voltage, that to phase voltage, and x-axis you mark it for field current according to this scale. Scale is x-axis 1 centimeter is equal to 1 ampere, y-axis 1 centimeter is equal to 50 volts. All of you prepare this graph sheet first. I hope all of you are having graph sheets with you. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So y-axis you mark it for voltage in volts, and for x-axis you show field current IF in amps, and 1 centimeter is equal to 1 ampere here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Likewise, you mark all x-axis, and for y-axis 1 centimeter is equal to 50 volts. 50, 100, 150, 200 till 400 you can take. Yes, is it over?
Yes, sir.
Boys side, have you completed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now, like how you have plotted OCC graph for EMF and MMF method, in the same way, first you prepare this OCC curve, and to prepare this OCC curve, you need to take the information of what is that field current versus phase voltage. So here field current for 1.5 ampere, what is the required voltage to get 86.602 phase voltage? Required excitation is 1.5. So 1.5. So this IF comes along x-axis. This will come along x-axis, and this will come along y-axis, phase voltage. So for 1.5 ampere excitation, voltage is 86.06602. So see here, 1.5 means this point first. 1.5 voltage will be somewhere 86.602. Mark that point, first point. Somewhere here, this will be my first point, 86.06602. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Then similarly, second point. See here, you should take phase voltage and field current. Don't take this line voltage. So next excitation is for 3 ampere. Voltage is 173.2. For 3 ampere, 173.2. 3 means this is my 3 ampere corresponding line. Voltage is 173.2. 173.2 means somewhere here. Okay. So this is my second point. This is my second point. Are you understanding, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Then what is third point? For 5 ampere, voltage is 254.03. For 5 ampere, this voltage is 254.03. Ampere means 5. For 5 ampere, 254.03. 250 is this line. Then for 5 ampere, right? Somewhere here. So this will be my next point. Mark this point. Similarly, for next point, for 8 ampere excitation, voltage is 317.54. For 8 ampere, 317.54. 8 ampere means this is my 8 ampere. Voltage is 317. Somewhere here we will be getting. And for 11 ampere excitation, voltage is 346. This is my 11 ampere. Voltage is 346, somewhere here. Then last point. For 15 ampere excitation, voltage is 366.617. 15 ampere means this is 15 ampere, and this is 300, 350, 366 and somewhere here. Okay. So have you marked all the points?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No. Okay. So now you connect all those points using the smooth curve starting from the origin. Just you use freehand sketch. Don't use any scale or anything. Just to connect all those points, you will be getting smooth OCC curve in this way. Smooth OCC curve you will be getting. Connect all these points using the smooth curve and mark this as OCC. Is it over?
Yes, sir.
And now your next work is to plot ZPF curve. For ZPF curve, we have 2 points. Point A is short circuit condition 0 volts, 4 ampere. Point P, point A is 0, 4 ampere. This point A having the information 4 ampere, 0 volt, and point P is having the information 14 ampere excitation with 288.67. So first you mark for point A. Point A means 0 volt. 0 volt means baseline of the x-axis. Corresponding excitation is 4 ampere. This is my voltage line, where 0 voltage means this is the 0 volt and required excitation is how much? 4 ampere. So this is my first point. What is that first point? Point A, having the information 0 volt, 4 ampere excitation. So mark this first point, all of you. Is it over?
Yes, sir.
Now mark for the second point. What is second point information? Point P, excitation is 14 ampere. For this excitation, voltage you will be getting as 288.67 volts. For 14 ampere excitation, voltage available is 288.67. See here, this is my 14 amps excitation. Required voltage is how much? 288.67. 288.67 is, this is 250 somewhere here. Okay, this will be my second point. Here in the textbook, this diagram is not up to the mark as per the scale. So this will be my point P. Have you marked 14 amps excitation for 288 volts? Have you marked?
Yes, sir.
Now, already you are having OCC curve. Parallel to this OCC curve, you should draw ZPF curve. Just parallel to this OCC, you should draw the what is that? ZPF curve by using the smooth freehand sketch. Just connect those 2 points A and P. In this way, connect these 2 points A and P, and this ZPF curve now, this should be in parallel to what? OCC. Here the smooth for graph is not available for OCC, but you should draw the smooth graph for OCC. Curve should be smooth. Have you drawn?
Yes, sir.
And now, all of you take the scale. Keep that scale just like a tangent, which is parallel to OCC. Take the scale and keep the scale placing on the origin, and this line should be just becoming tangent to the, what is that? OCC. And such line you draw it using the scale, and now this line you call it as, what? Take the scale, draw the tangent to OCC. Draw the tangent to OCC and call this line as air line. Call this line as air line.
Over, sir.
Okay. Is it over?
Yes, sir.
And now what is the rated voltage here? So for 14 amps excitation, how much is the voltage you are getting?
8.67 volts.
Oh no, for 14 amps, 288.67, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now what you can do for this rated voltage 2.8867, you draw the, what is that? 250, 288. Check where that 288 point is coming. Rated voltage. For that rated voltage, you draw the horizontal line till it should touch to both OCC as well as, anyhow you got this point, right? So from this point you draw the horizontal parallel line to x-axis till it should touch to where? Voltage axis. So anyhow you are having this point with you. So from that point P, you draw the dotted parallel line with respect to x-axis such that it should intersect what is that? OCC airline, and finally it should touch to the voltage y-axis. Is it over?
Over, sir.
And now all of you listen here. Measure the length of OA. Measure the length of OA. Check what is the length of this origin O with respect to A using scale. And usually this line you should draw it, this line you should draw it for the rated voltage here. So here the rated voltage they have given it as for the ZPF test 500. To get this rated terminal voltage is 500 means 500 by root 3 means 288.67. So now this will be my voltage for the 288. This is the line for 288.67 volts. Always this Portier triangle you should draw it for rated voltage line only. And here in the ZPF test, rated terminal voltage is given as 288 500 by root 3 means 288. For that sake, we have taken this 288 point line here. Is it clear, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is the length of OA? 1 centimeter, 2
Sir,
centimeter.
we drawn.
Yes.
Sir, anyhow we drawn A point at 4 only, no, sir. From origin to
So the length will
point 8, 4,
it will
sir.
be 4 centimeter. Yes or no?
4 centimeter.
It will be 4 centimeter.
Yes, sir.
Now, what you should do with that 4 centimeter length, so from point P, what you can do is, from point P, measure 4 centimeter length. Okay. Measure 4 centimeter length. So till here, it will be 4 centimeter length. And this is Portier triangle, which I am constructing on the rated voltage line only. That is 288.67 here. Okay. So now OA length is 4 centimeter. So from point P, measure 4 centimeter length. What you can do, first you fix the scale for 4 centimeter line and draw the line till it reads 0. Okay. So that line will be 4 centimeter. Okay. Draw 4 centimeter line starting from the point P. What you can do, place the scale with 4 centimeter reading on point P. From 4 centimeter till to the 0 line, you draw this straight line, and now this line will read how much? It will read 4 centimeter. Is it over? Yes?
Yes, sir.
And now this point you call it as point P. This point you call it as Q. All of you, is it clear?
Clear, sir.
Shall I proceed further? Okay, see here.
Yes, sir.
Now your next work is, anyhow you have drawn airline, so keep the scale in line with the airline. Take the scale and keep the scale in line with the airline, and parallelly and slowly you have to move that scale till it should, what you can do, first to take the scale. Suppose this is the scale, keep the scale in this order. In this way you keep the scale, and slowly now you move the scale. Slowly now you move the scale. How long you should move? Till this scale, it should touch to this end point. That is, end point means point Q. If this is the scale, keep the scale in line with the airline, and slowly you move the scale in line and parallel with the airlines. Now you slowly move the scale till that scale somewhere, now it will come and intersect and touches to the point Q. Is it touching to the point Q now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, at one point it will touch to point Q, and on the other side it will somewhere touch to the point, what is that? It will touch to the OCC. It will touch to the OCC, right? So wherever it is touching to the OCC, the scale, wherever it is touching to the point Q, till there you should move it slowly, and now some other point the scale will touch to the point OCC curve. So mark that point now, all of you, and now this point you mark it as R. This point you mark it as R now. Is it over?
Yes, sir.
Now join RQ. Join RQ. Join R.
Over, sir.
Okay. Is it over?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Now see here, from the point R, you drop the perpendicular. Dropping perpendicular means what? Just draw the straight line such that it should touch to this triangle and this line PQ. Drop the perpendicular from point R to the line PQ, and wherever it is touching to this line PQ, mark that point as yes. Mark that point as yes. I hope all of you have written the scale. Scale, you should write it on the corner of the graph paper. Have you written down the scale, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So have you drawn perpendicular line RS perpendicular to PQ?
Yes, sir.
So now your OCC is what is that? Using OCC and ZPF, your ZPF graph is ready. So now you need to use this graph. So this triangle PQR, we call it as Portier triangle. Using this Portier triangle, we are going to extract the information of IA into XL. IA into XL means length of RS multiplied by 1 centimeter scale information. Here 1 centimeter is 50. 50 multiplied by length of RS. Similarly, this length of PS gives us IF2 information. IF2 means field current required to overcome armature reaction. So that length of PS multiplied by, this is horizontal distance, means I should take x-axis 1 centimeter information, and here 1 centimeter is equal to 1 ampere. Okay. Then from Portier triangle PQR, all of you note down this, from Portier triangle PQR. So this is Portier triangle PQR. Okay. PQR, the armature leakage reactance drop is length of RS is 1.1 centimeter. Here, all of you take the scale and measure what is the length of RS. Measure the length of RS, all of you. And if you want, what is the length of RS now?
$1.1 centimeter.
Are you all getting 1.1? So, length of
Yes,
RS is
sir.
1.1 centimeter. Note down, all of you, this value. Length of RS is equal to 1.1 centimeter. From Portier triangle PQR, the armature leakage reactance drop is length of RS is equal to 1.1 centimeter. Armature leakage reactance drop means IA into XL. IA into XL. So here in this ZPF test, we are separating a resistive drop and a reactive drop. So here in the EMF method, we are considering directly as IA into XS. XS means sum of XL and XAR, where we are treating both XL and XAR as EMF quantity, which is not a true fact. So here in the ZPF method, that XS synchronous reactance, which is the sum of XL and XAR, that we are separating. XL means it is reactive, it is reactive drop, whereas XL and XAR, that both things we are separating here. So now here IA into XL, if I want to calculate this information, I am going to get it from this Portier triangle. Length of RS, anyhow it is, as you said, it is 1.1 into scale. Therefore IA into XL is equal to length of RS into scale. Scale means how you should take RS, length of RS, it is along vertical distance. Vertical distance means it is along y-axis. So my y-axis corresponds to voltage information. 1 centimeter information you should take. What is 1 centimeter voltage information here? 1 centimeter is equal to how much?
50 volts, sir.
50 volts. 50 multiplied by length of RS. 1.1 into 50. How much it will be?
55.
55 volts. Okay. Now this much data you should keep it ready. Now for the given load condition, you should calculate the voltage regulation. So for first case is what? To calculate the voltage regulation for cos pi is equal to 0.8 lagging. Okay. That next to write case 1. case 1 is equal to, here they have given all these vector diagrams and all, no need to do all these things. It is very simple. I will tell you how it is possible to calculate IF1 and IF2. No need to draw all these things here. Just you write case 1 cos pi is equal to 0.8 lagging. Okay, next you write have you written case 1 cos pi is equal to 0.8 lagging. This much you write, then you write it as field current IF2, note down all of you, field current IF2 required to overcome armature reaction. Required to overcome armature reaction can be calculated from the Pottier triangle PQR. From the Pottier triangle PQR, that is below, right? IF2 is equal to length of PS. IF2 is equal to length of PS. Length of PS multiplied by PS means which type of distance it is? Horizontal distance, yes or no? You need to measure now. What is that? Length of PS, this value. Okay, this length of PS, it is horizontal distance. Horizontal distance means x-axis, yes or no? So measure length of PS and multiply it with x-axis 1 centimeter information. 1 centimeter is equal to how much here? 1 ampere, yes or no? So first you measure what is length of IF2 is equal to length of PS multiplied by scale. Scale means PS means it is along horizontal distance. So horizontal means x-axis 1 centimeter information, scale information you have to take here. Scale means horizontal x-axis 1 centimeter information. If it is length of RS means I and XL means length of RS multiplied by scale. Scale means since RS is vertical distance, take y-axis 1 centimeter information. But now here IF2 is equal to length of PS. From this point till to this point, it is my PS value. So measure what is PS length and multiply it with scale, that is 1 centimeter is equal to 1 ampere. PS value is how much? Here PS value
Sir,
3.1.
3.2.
Okay, here it is 3.1 or 3.2. It is okay, but time being you can take it as 3.1. Is anybody getting as 3.1? You are very near to the answer, 3.1. You can consider now that for timing as 3.1. It all depends upon how graph you are constructing. Based on that minor difference you are going to find it, but that is okay. Difference should be well within the nearby to the range. It should not deviate from the answer with large difference. Is anybody getting FAR as 3.1? What you should do, measure the length of PS. Here answer for PS is 3.1 and scale is 1 centimeter is equal to 1 ampere. So 3.1 into 1 means IF2 is equal to once again 3.1 ampere only. Ajay, are you getting 3.1? Shri Shanti.
Yes, sir.
What is the answer you are getting?
3.2 ampere, sir.
Okay, now round up to 3.1 here. Okay. Even
Okay,
if you
sir.
solve that one, no harm, but what will happen? That gives some errors for the entire problem.
Yes, sir.
So IF2 here in the problem notation for IF2 they have taken it as FAR. We know that IF2 is equal to FR, yes or no? So simply you can follow the one notation. IF2 is equal to length of PS into scale, that is 3.1 into 1, that is equal to 3.1 ampere. So I know IF2 value, and this IF2 value now it will remain constant for all the different power factor condition. For next case it is what is the power factor condition? 0.8 lead, like that they have given. There also this IF2 will remain same, because this IF2 value I am getting it from Portier triangle. This IF2 value as well as IA into XL value, this will remain constant for any of the given power factor condition. This will not change. Okay. Now IF2 you have calculated from Portier triangle, that is length of PS, and IXL you have calculated from Portier triangle, that is length of RS multiplied by scale. Next is I need to calculate IF1. IF2 you have calculated, I need to calculate IF1. Yes or no? What is this IF1? As per MMF method, it is the field current required to induce the rated voltage. Yes or no? So now, if I want to calculate this IF1, I should calculate what is E1 pH. Note down this formula, all of you. E1 pH equal to E1 pH is equal to square root of V phase cos pi plus IARA whole square V phase cos pi plus IARA whole square plus V phase sin pi plus V phase sin pi. Next, what will appear? V phase sin pi plus or minus S. Can anybody? IA into
X, sir.
XL value. IA into XL value. This IA into XL, now you have got it from Portier triangle. Yes. So you should in order to calculate IF1 now, you should calculate E1 pH. Okay. So to calculate E1 pH, the formula is square root of V phase cos pi plus IARA whole square plus V phase sin pi plus or minus IA into XL whole square. But for case 1, what is the type of power factor here we have considered? Cos pi is equal to 0.8 lag. So since it is lag, for that sake, what I should do? I should take which sign now? I should consider plus sign only. Getting? Consider plus sign now. Now, what is V phase? V phase means what is the line voltage here in the problem statement? First, what is line voltage? VL. 440 is the line voltage. 440 by root 3. How much it will be? VL is equal to 440 volts. Okay.
254.034, sir.
440. Convert this to VPH. VPH is equal to VL by root 3. VL by root 3. Okay. This will be equal to 440 upon 1.732 or square root of 3. That is equal to how much? 254.03 volts. So this is my VPH value. So now in this E1 pH, substitute VPH as 254.03 and cos pi is 0.8 and IARA. Since I told you here armature resistance is not given to you, so take this RA as 0. If I take RA as 0, then whole IARA will become what?
0.
0 itself. Plus V phase means 254.03 sin pi. Cos pi is 0.8 means sin pi will be 0.6. Now take plus sign here because it is lagging power factor. Consider plus sign plus I into XL. I into XL, you have got this I into XL value from where? IA XL value already you have calculated from the Portier triangle. Length of RS is nothing but length of RS into scale is nothing but what is that? I into XL. What is the value for I into XL here? IA XL is how much?
55, sir.
55 volts. So substitute this 55 here. Substitute this whole value as I into XL as 55 whole square and tell me the answer for E1 pH. V phase, take it as 254.03, cos pi as 0.8, IARA, since array is 0, not given, for that sake, we are treating it as 0, neglecting RA drop. Then V phase 254.03, sin pi is 0.6, IA into XL is 55 whole square. Take plus sign because of lagging power factors. So what is E1 pH we are getting? Before to this, what you have written? You have written IF2 value. Yes? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
After writing that IF2, next you write to find, just you write one statement there. To find IF1, calculate E1 pH. To find IF1, calculate E1 pH using the formula. That is E1 pH is equal to square root of V phase cos pi plus IARA whole square plus V phase sin pi plus or minus I into XL. I into XL, don't write it as XS. The XS means it is XL and XAR. We are separating resistive and reactive drop in the ZPF method. For that sake only, we are getting exact values here. I into XL whole square plus for lag minus for lead. Now it is since lagging power factors, take plus sign. Substitute all the values and tell me the answer for E1 pH.
290.38, sir.
Okay, very good. So here also you have got the same answer. E1 pH as 298.382 volts. So here in this in the textbook, they have used all these notations and all. Simply it is complicated. Instead of doing the things in this way, it is very simple to calculate just by using this formula. For that sake, directly I am using this formula to calculate E1 pH. If you use this phasor diagram, you should analyze all the things here. Once again, it is same formula only. You need to draw this phasor diagram, and according to this phasor diagram, you are writing all these things. Instead of that, directly you can write this formula. That is E1 pH is equal to V phase cos pi plus IRA whole square. So E1 pH, all of you are getting 290.382 volts. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, next you write for E1 pH is equal to 290.38 volts. For E1 pH is equal to 290.38 volts. Find corresponding IF1. Find corresponding IF1 using OCC. Using OCC from the graph. So now this is my E1 pH. For this corresponding voltage, check what is the corresponding excitation IF1 using OCC. Once again, you take the graph sheet here. So check where that E1 pH will come. 290 means here this is 250 and this is 300. 290 means exactly this point. Okay. So now from 290, this you mark it as E1 pH for lag. Here, this point you mark it as E1 pH for lag and take the horizontal extension line and draw the horizontal extension line till it should touch to OCC. Till OCC it should touch. Where it is touching to the OCC, from there you drop the perpendicular. From there you drop the perpendicular, and whatever that perpendicular line it is intersecting to the x-axis field current. Now this is my IF1 value. So here IF1 you are getting it as how much? IF1 is equal to, I hope you will be getting the answer as 6.1 ampere. Yes or no? IF1 is equal to 6.1 ampere for 0.8 power factor lag. For 0.8 power factor lag.
6.1, sir.
Okay. So IF1 is 6.1. I hope all of you are getting the same answer, and you should mark this point. IF1 equal to 6.1 ampere for 0.8 power factor lag in the graph. Have you all marked?
Yes, sir.
Now, I got IF2 as 3.1 and IF2 as 3.1 and IF1 as 6.1. Now, once again, you make use of MMF method formula. What is resultant IF? Resultant IF is given by what formula? Don't use all these triangles, whatever we are using in the MMF method. I'm just explaining with the simple method here. IF is equal to resultant IF is equal to square root of what? Square root of,
IF1.
next you write, since IF1 equal to how much? 6.1 ampere and IF2 is equal to 3.1 ampere. Now calculate resultant IF given by IF is equal to square root of IF1 square plus IF2 square plus or minus 2 times of IF1 IF2 sin pi, and this formula is as per your MMF method formula, and even pH, this formula it is as per EMF method. So here we are separating EMF drops as well as MMF drops. Because of that we are getting accurate values. Now calculate IF. IF1 is 6. How much? IF1 value is 6.1 and IF2 is 3.1. And since it is lagging power factor, take plus sign. Consider plus sign now. Sin pi is 0.6 because cos pi is 0.8 means sin pi will be 0.6. And tell me what is IF value. Yes, what is IF1? IF value, resultant IF. Here in the textbook they have used this formula, which is very complicated to remember, and it is very simple formula.
6.7.
How much?
6.887.
But here answer is
6.88, sir.
Here 8.337. Answer is?
Yes, sir. 8.337.
Answer is 8.337. Where is that? Are you all getting 8.337? IF is equal to square root of IF1 square, IF2 square plus 2 times of IF1, IF2 sin pi. Here's here. Answer is 8.337. Check with the notation. I hope you have taken minus sign. Sin pi will be 0.6 now because cos pi is 0.8 means sin pi will be 0.6. Answer will be getting as IF is equal to 8.337 ampere.
Yes, sir. 8.337.
Okay. Now you have obtained the resultant field current. Next you write For IF, resultant IF equal to 8.33 ampere. For resultant IF equal to 8.33 ampere, check corresponding EPH. Check corresponding EPH using OCC. Using OCC from the graph. Using OCC from the graph. Now, IF means for this IF value 8.33, you should check what is the corresponding EPH value. You should check what is the corresponding EPH value using OCC, open circuit characteristics curve, from the graph. Okay, for 8.33 ampere, let us see here. Once again, you take the graph. 8.33 means this is 8 and this is 9. 8.33 means somewhere here. Okay, so this is my IF value. You can write it as, for this you mention it as for this you write it as IF equal to 8.33 amps for cos pi equal to 0.8 power factor lag. Just you mark this point, and for this you highlight IF equal to 8.33 ampere for 0.8 power factor lag. Now for this 8.33, take the upward projection. Take the vertical upward projection, straight line vertical upward projection, such that it should touch to once again OCC. OCC means this light green color curve. So this is my OCC. It should intersect with the OCC, not ZPF. It should intersect with the OCC. From there, read the corresponding voltage. Voltage means y-axis. So now this is my EPH value. So here it is 300 and here it is 350. In between 300 and 350 means somewhere around 325 or 324. So this is my EPH value. Check what is EPH you are getting.
324, sir.
Let us see the answer here. And here answer is 328. Here, as per the notation, the answer is 328. Check, is anybody getting 328? No, it is not wrong. It's okay. If you are getting 324 also, it is near to the answer. Here actually, even if you are getting the answer near to the exact value, then also you will get the marks. What we are saying is the way and the method what you are using to solve this ZPF method, that we are seeing here. So now here you have got 324 as the answer, but in the textbook the answer for this is 328. Is anybody getting 328? This point you can write it as EPH is equal to 328 volts. You need to mention here 328 volts for cos pi is equal to 0.8 power factor lag. Okay. So now you have calculated for EPH, that is 328. Now finally calculate regulation. Therefore percentage regulation is equal to what? EPH minus VPH divided by VPH into 100. So EPH is 328. VPH means what? 440 by root 3, that is 254.03 divided by once again 254.03 into 100. The answer will be 29.11%, 29.11%. Check all of you are getting the same answer. Shall we proceed to the case 2 now? Same procedure you should follow for case 2, but power factor now instead of it is lagging, it is leading now. Yes?
29.11%, sir.
Okay, fine. And keep that answer in the square box, rectangular box. Now we'll move to the case 2. One thing you remember, from the Portier triangle, we are extracting IAXL drop and IF2 drop. Sorry, IAXL information and IF2 information, and that will remain constant for any of the loading condition or for any of the power factor condition here. Okay, so we'll move to the case 2. Case 2, here we should calculate voltage regulation for cos pi is equal to 0.8 leading. Now in place of lag, you should take leading power factor. Okay, now see here, the drop IAXL remains same. All of you read this sentence. The drop, case 2, cos pi equal to 0.8 leading. The drop IAXL remains the same. Only its direction changes due to leading power factor. Only its direction changes due to leading power factor. And also that is IAXL is equal to 55 volts. Next to write, that is IAXL is equal to 55 volts from Portier triangle. From Portier triangle, and also next to write, and also IF2 equal to how much? IF2 equal to 3.1 ampere. 3.1 ampere from Portier triangle remains same. Remains same. IAXL, that is 55 volts, and IF2, that is 3.1, both will remain same from the Portier triangle. Now next you write, calculate IF1. Calculate IF1 using calculate IF1 by using the formula E1PH equal to all of you wrote down this formula once again. E1PH is equal to square root of V phase cos pi plus IARA whole square plus V phase sin pi. Now in place of plus sign, you should take which sign now?
Minus, sir.
Now you consider minus here. Rest of the things are same. Calculate E1PH in order to find IF1. So in order to find IF1, calculate E1PH using the formula E1PH is equal to square root of V phase cos pi plus IARA whole square plus V phase sin pi minus IA into XL whole square. Substitute all the values. V phase is 254.03, cos pi is 0.8. Since RA is 0, not given, so we are treating it as negligible as 0. That is IRA drop is 0. V phase once again 254.03. Sin pi is 0.6 minus IA into XL is 55. So tell me the answer for E1PH now. In place of plus sign, just to take minus and tell me the answer.
225.366.
Okay, so now the answer is 225.366 volts. Yes, answer is right. E1PH is equal to 225.366 volts. Next, what I should do? For this corresponding E1PH, check what is IF1 using OCC, yes or no? Next, all
Yes.
of you write. To find IF1, check corresponding check corresponding E1PH. No, already you are given with E1PH, right? For this, right? For E1PH is equal to 225.366 volts. For E1PH equal to 225.366 volts. Check corresponding IF1. Check corresponding IF1 using OCC. Using OCC from the graph. Now see here, E1PH is 225. E1PH means my voltage y-axis. Voltage y-axis, yes or no? So now E1PH 225. Now once again, you consider this. What is that? 225, where it is coming 200. So this is 225. Okay, this is my 225 point. So now mark this 225 and take the horizontal projection till it should touch to OCC. Here it is touching to the OCC, and mark this point once again, E1PH. E1PH is equal to 225.33 volts for cos pi is equal to 0.8 lead. E1PH, mark that point. So 225, mark first this point as E1PH is equal to 225.33 volts for cos pi is equal to 0.8 lead. From there you draw the horizontal line till it should touch to the OCC. This is my OCC curve. From there you drop the perpendicular. So check what is the corresponding IF1. So this is my corresponding IF1. Let's check what is the,
Yes, sir.
how much?
4.1.
So here the IF1, what you are getting is 4.1. Very good. Answer is right. 4.1. All of you are getting same answer, 4.1. So for this you write IF1 equal to 4.1 amps for cos pi is equal to 0.8 lead. IF1 is equal to 0.8 lead. Is it over?
Yes, sir.
Now calculate. Next you write calculate resultant IF using the formula IF is equal to square root of IF1 square plus IF2 square. Now in place of plus sign, I should take what sign?
Minus, sir.
Now in place of plus sign, you take minus sign. Now you take minus sign here. IF1 square plus IF2 square minus 2 times of IF1, IF2 sin pi. IF1 just now you have calculated, it is 4.1 now. So now IF1 is 4.1, but IF2 will remain constant. It will be 3.1. IF2 is 3.1 minus 2 times of IF1, IF2 sin pi. Sin pi is 0.6. Substitute all the values and tell me the resultant IF value. So IF, how much you are getting? Substitute all the values in this formula. IF is equal to square root of IF1 square plus IF2 square minus 2 times of IF1, IF2 sin pi. IF1 is 4.1, IF2 is 3.1 from the quotient triangle, which is constant, minus 2 times of IF1, IF2 sin pi means 0.6 here. So IF resultant will be how much?
3.344, sir.
Very good. So resultant IF is 3.34 ampere. Next, what I should do? For this corresponding IF value, you should check what is corresponding
EPH old, sir.
EPH. Okay. Next, you write to find EPH. To find EPH, check EPH value. Check EPH value corresponding to IF equal to 3.34 ampere from OCC. Check corresponding EPH value from OCC using the graph. So this IF equal to 3.34 ampere means this is x-axis IF information. Yes or no? So now here I should once again check x-axis 3.34 where it comes. 3.34. 3.34 means this is 1 ampere, 2 ampere, 3 ampere. 3.34 means somewhere here. So this is my IF equal to 3.34. Mark this point, all of you. IF equal to 3.34 ampere for cos pi equal to 0.8 lead. Now after marking that point, take the vertical upward projection till it should touch to the OCC. Okay. And once it touches to the OCC, from there you take the horizontal line till it should touch to the voltage y-axis. And now this is my EPH value. So here, if from the graph, it is around 180 something, because it is 150 and here it is 200, means 180 around you will be getting. Those who are using the graph sheets, you should get the correct answer. So EPH value is, let us see how much it is given the textbook. So here EPH is, it's told around 180, means here it is 190. Check, you are getting EPH as 190, all of you.
I got 190, sir.
Okay, very good. So EPH is 190 volts. So therefore percentage regulation is equal to, finally you write EPH minus, what is that? Next one comment you write there. For IF equal to 3.34 ampere, for IF equal to 3.34 ampere, corresponding EPH equal to 190 volts. Corresponding EPH is equal to 190 volts from OCC using the graph. From OCC using the graph. From OCC using the graph. Next, finally, right? Therefore, percentage regulation is equal to EPH minus VPH divided by VPH into 100. EPH is 190 for the second case. VPH is 254.03 divided by VPH is 254.03 into 100. So regulation value will be how much?
Minus 25.20.
2%. Okay, minus 25.2%. Since it is leading power factor, regulation will be negative. And in the previous case, it was, what is that, lagging power factor. For that, say, you got positive regulation as 29.11%. I hope this problem is clear to all of you. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Whatever I have explained to you, just to follow these instructions. Similar kind of problem we'll solve in the next class. Okay, and remember, this is one of these are all important questions which will be asked for 10 to 12 marks in the final VTO exam. Either they may ask theory related to ZPF method, or they may ask problems related to this ZPF method.
Sir, if regulation percentage is negative, means efficiency is high, no, sir?
Yes, efficiency will be high. Regulation, what it indicates, regulation is just telling us on the drop information, voltage drop. If regulation is too high, it is nothing but drop is very high. If drop is high, means what about efficiency?
Decreases, sir.
Efficiency will be low. Similarly, if regulation is negative means drop is very less, then efficiency will be
High.
high. Both are inversely proportional. If
Okay.
regulation is more, efficiency will be less, because regulation indicates drop in the voltage value. If regulation is high, voltage drop will be high. If voltage drop is high, then automatically efficiency will be low.
Okay.
Because see here, regulation is what? Change in the voltage from no load to full load means what? That is nothing but drop in the voltage you are checking here. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
Thank you, sir.
It's okay.